Alright everybody, so this is going to be the training video for the 5th grade workshop. You're going to need most of your materials for this workshop that you were given. So you'll need your CD player, your Lewis and Clark CD. You'll need your 11, nice. You'll need your 11 Lewis and Clark scripts. You will need strips. You will need the feathers, which are in here, feather sheet. And then you will also need flashlight and pens. Okay? Again, this is a 50-minute workshop. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Thank you very much. My name is Lisa, and I am an actor with the Merry-Go-Round Playhouse. How many of you remember Merry-Go-Round coming into your classroom before? A couple of you, great.
You saw Longhouse.
Awesome. Well, when Merry-Go-Round normally comes into your classroom, we're here to talk to you about a play that you're going to see, and then you go and see the play. But today, we're going to reverse it. You are going to put on a play for me right here in your classroom. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff, right? So, normally when you put on a play, you have weeks or months to put on the play, but today we have less than an hour. We only have 50 minutes. So that means I might be talking very quickly. Might mean that I'm moving from group to group kind of fast, but that doesn't mean that I'm trying to be rude or not having a good time. It just means that I'm trying to get through a lot of information very quickly so that you can have the best show possible, okay? But I'm also going to be relying on you to make sure that we have the best show possible, so I'm going to count on you behaving like mature and responsible 5th graders, okay? Following all of your normal classroom rules, respecting each other, and if you can do that, I can guarantee that we'll have a really great workshop with you today, all right? So, there are a lot of jobs that we're going to need filled in order to put on a play. We all know that we need actors, but can anyone think of another job that needs to be filled in order to put on a play? Yes.
Someone to turn the lights on and off.
Great. Someone to operate the lights, exactly.
You need people to make the set and stuff.
People to make the set, people to build the set. Any other ideas?
Costumes.
Costumes, very good. Any other ideas? Yeah, we're going to be filling a lot of these parts. And we're also going to be having a director, which is myself. Now, it's the director's job to tell the actors where to move on stage. I will also be playing the role of the producer. Now, the producer's job is to make sure that there is enough money to put on a play. So who in here has a lot of money?
James.
James got a lot of money. So I would go over and I'd say, hey, James, guy with a lot of money. My name is Lisa, and I'm going to put on a brand new fabulous show called Lewis and Clark. It's going to be the newest, best hit play that's ever hit Broadway, okay? But there's a little problem. I don't have any money. So if you lend me $100 right now, when our play is a huge success, I'll pay you back $1,000. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Deal? You'll get me a check in the mail?
Yeah.
Great, okay. So now I have enough money to put on my show. But my investor is going to want his $1,000, right? So I need to make sure my play, our play, is a big success, okay? So that means I need to hire a really great stage manager. Can anyone tell me what a stage manager does? Yes.
It's the person who says go and stop.
It's the stage manager tells the actors when to go and when to stop and when the light should go and when they should go off and when scenery should move up. Right? They manage everything that happens on the stage. Very good. So I need to hire a very competent stage manager. Who in here thinks that they could be a really organized and responsible stage manager? You do? Great, wonderful. So you can take this script and actually, why don't you come on up here and help me hand out these scripts, okay? That's going to be your first task. Okay, so if you could just help me hold them. That first one is yours, so you can just kind of keep that and put that away. So now we're going to move into casting. Now before I start casting the show or putting people into parts, I want to let you know that I do something called gender blind casting. Can anyone tell me what gender blind casting means? Okay.
It means a girl can play a guy.
It means a girl can play a guy and guys can play girl parts. It doesn't matter, right? If you want to play a part, it doesn't matter if it was written for a boy or a girl, go ahead and raise your hand, okay? So, let's look at our scripts and see who we have first. Narrator. Now I need someone who feels very comfortable with big words and reading out loud. You do? Great, okay? Now if you are cast in the show, you're going to go and sit in the green room, which is back in the corner back there, where there's chairs set up, and your job is to read through your script silently, okay? Great. Who's next? Oh, Lewis. Lewis is one of our title characters. Lewis of Lewis and Clark, and he's a great adventurer. Who would like to play Lewis? Wonderful. Who's next? Clark, another one of the title characters. Clark of Lewis and Clark. Who would like to be great? Very good. And next we have Toussaint. Now, Toussaint is a funny French man. Okay? So I need someone who can do a silly French accent. So, who in here thinks they can do a silly French accent? You do? Okay. So why don't you go ahead and just say, oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Oh, you're cast. Very good. Okay. Go back to the green room. Next we have Sacagawea. She's the Native American princess. You would? Wonderful. Go right back to the green room and read silently. Next we have the chief of the village, who's very powerful and chiefly. You are wonderful. Great. And next, Odongo. Odongo's the strong arm, the protector of the village. Yes, you look like a great protector. Very good. All right, so those are all of the parts in the play. I'm sorry. Are you all right?
Okay.
A little bit sharp there? So now I need someone who likes gadgets and likes fiddling with things. You do? Great. So you're going to be my light operator. And I need you to select an assistant for yourself, someone that you can work really well with. Work out great. So you'll take that, and your assistant is going to do that, and you can go over to the lights. And now I need someone who likes music, who likes sound. You do great. So you're going to take this, and you're going to find a place to plug it in. Hang on, did you get the CD with that? Here it is. Okay, you can take that and find a place to plug it in. Oh, and here's your script. Okay, wonderful. Now I need some people who like arts and crafts, who like to make things. 1, 2, 3. Very good. You are going to make some costumes and also props for our show. And you're going to be my costume crew head. You're going to be in charge of the group, okay? So I'm going to give you these supplies, and don't use any of the supplies until I come around and give you some instructions, okay? You can actually go back to that table that's set up right over there and wait patiently. Okay? Great. Okay, now my friends who are left, I have actually saved the best for last. You are the running crew, which means it's your job to not only act in the show, but also set up the scenery and set up everything that happens during the show, okay? So I'm going to be counting on you to show everybody else how great this show can be, okay? So what I'd like you each to do is grab a chair and bring them out into the center and wait patiently. Okay, Ranger, you can go back into the green room and hang out with everybody else, okay? So I'm going to be coming around and giving individual instructions to each group. Now, there's only one of me and lots of groups, so please wait patiently and quietly until I come around and give instructions to your group. All right, costume crew, it is your task to make 3 headbands, okay? The first headband is going to have 1 feather, and that's for Odongo. The second headband is going to have 2 feathers, and that is for Sacagawea. And the third headband with 3 feathers, because he's the most important one in the village, is for the chief, okay? So my suggestion is to take 2 pieces of this paper, staple or tape, whatever's easiest.
We got a stapler.
Okay, great. And then go over quietly to the green room and measure the actor's head that's going to be playing that part. Because you might have to add a little bit more paper depending on the size of their heads, okay? So measure their heads and then add the feathers and color them in and do all of that great stuff.
I can color them any color?
Any color you want to. It's yours to design. Then, if you finish the headbands, you can create a waterfall that the run crew can hold in their hands to create sort of a waterfall with their arms. You'll have to use materials that you can find here in the classroom. And then if you finish with that, you can make a fire for the Shoshone village, also using materials you can find here in the classroom, okay? So work quietly. I'll check back in with you in a little bit. If you have any questions, ask your costume crew head, okay? If your chief doesn't know the answer, they will come and ask me, okay? She will come and ask me. All right? So this person should be the only one coming up and asking me questions. Okay. Work quietly and I'll come back around, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, lights. Let's go through your script together, okay? So go ahead and open it up. Where it says lights out. I'm sorry, right there. What do you think happens?
Turn it all off.
Turn them all off, very good. And where it says lights up, what do you think happens?
Turn it back on.
Turn it back on, very good. You were born to do this, okay? And then go to the next page where it says lights to half. What do you think happens there?
You turn on a few lights.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only have one light switch in this room. So since we can't do lights to half, what I'd like you to just say nice and loud is half. Can you try that?
Half!
Awesome, exactly. So you just do that when it says lights to half.
Cool.
Okay? So wherever it's in blue, that's something that you do. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just read through the script with your assistant, okay, so that you all know when the lights come on and off. Now, assistant, it's going to be your job to operate the spotlight. Okay? So when it says spot on, what do you think you do? Right? You turn it on. And when it says spot out, what do you think you do? You turn it off. Now, when you shine the spotlight, you're going to want to make sure that you're shining it right at their mouth, not at their eyes, because you don't want to hurt their eyes, right? Great. So go ahead and read through quietly. When we get to the blocking part of the rehearsal, that's when we'll start working with you. Don't turn the lights on and off until we get to that part. Okay? Do you have any questions?
Do I tell him to turn the spotlight on?
This is going to be read by the stage manager or myself, so no. You'll just be doing the movements, you won't be reading it. Okay?
Thank you.
Great. Keep on working. Okay, sound. Do you know how to operate a CD player?
Yeah, I have this one at home.
Awesome. So let's go through your script together. Okay. So let's see. On the next page is going to be your first start music. What do you think you do when it says start music?
Turn it on.
You turn it on, right? Now I believe the first 6 tracks on here are all Native American songs. Make sure number 6 is still in there. Yeah. Yeah, and then 7 and 8. So the first time that it says start music, you're going to choose track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So what you're going to do is listen through quietly over here, see which one you like the best, and that's the one you're going to play for the first time it says start music.
Okay.
And when it says music out, what do you think you're going to do?
Turn it on.
Perfect, yeah. Just hit pause or stop, whatever works best for you. So the next time it says start music, you're going to choose track 7 or track 8 on here, okay? And those are both patriotic songs, so you can listen to those and see which one you like the best.
Okay.
Now when it says music fades out, what do you think you do?
Turn the volume down.
Right, exactly. It gets gradually quieter. Very good. So listen through quietly over here, see which tracks you like the best. If you have any questions, you can come over and find me. But once we start working in the blocking rehearsal, we'll start incorporating the music, okay? So just make sure you keep it at a level that isn't going to be distracting to other people. Okay? Great. Have fun. All right, actors. Everyone get your scripts out. Very good. So we're going to go through your scripts together. So the things highlighted in blue are the things that you do. Those are your actions. The things highlighted in red are the things that you say, okay? You're never going to say anything that comes before the 2 dots, okay? So you're not going to say your name. Now, there are some tricky words in here, so I want to make sure that we go through them together. So if you turn to the back of your script, there's glossary, very good, and pronunciation. So we're going to go through all these words together. So repeat after me. Merriweather.
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 Very good. Toussaint.
Tucson.
Toussaint.
Tucson.
Charbonneau.
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 Toussaint Charbonneau.
Tucson. Charbonneau.
Sacagawea.
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 Very good. Shoshone.
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 Odancote.
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 Alliance.
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 Very good. If you forget how to pronounce it, they are all written next to the word, okay? So it's written how you should say it.
Yeah.
And then if you need any clarification about what a word means, there's a lot of definitions down there in the glossary. Okay? So, your first job as a cast is to go through 2 read-throughs of the script. That means you start at the beginning and you go all the way through to the end of the script, reading your lines out loud in order. You don't have to have your lines memorized for the show, okay? You're going to just be using the scripts while you're up there. Does anybody have any questions? Great. So stage manager, you're going to be reading the cues out loud, okay? And you will be reading them out loud during the show. So it's your job to start the run-through. The read-through. So you're going to start by saying, run crew set up for scene 1. Go ahead and start. Run crew set up for scene 1. Very good. And then the next. Lights out. Actors take their places. Very good. And go ahead and keep reading out loud.
Lights up and action.
Very good.
Communication of five.
Okay, run crew, thank you so much for waiting so patiently. I appreciate it. Okay, so you are the running crew, which means you're going to be setting up the scenes, and you're also going to be doing some acting. Why do you think that you're called the run crew? Why do you think that is? You don't have to run, but you have to move quickly. I actually like to think of you as my ninjas, okay? Because you have to move silently, but very quickly. Okay? So whenever you're setting up the chairs in the different scenes, I want you to think about moving like a ninja, not necessarily moving, but you know that you're moving quickly and quietly. So I want to see how ninja-like you can set up for the top of the show. The top of the show means the beginning of the show. Right? So I'd like you to do that. If you take your chair and slide it just a little bit up that way. There you go. Take yours and move it back here. Great. Perfect. Very good. So what I'd like you to do is stand up and stand behind your chair. And when I say run crew, set up for scene 1, you're going to bring your chairs right next to each other, kind of like you just were, okay? And remember, we're moving like a ninja, so you're going to lift the chairs and set them down so nice and quiet and moving quickly, okay? Run crew, set up for scene 1. And then take a seat. Nicely. That was great. That was great. Then you will hear lights out, actors take your places. We'll have the narrator come out. And then you'll hear lights up and action. When you hear that lights up and action, you are now a big, scary waterfall. So your arms will be out in front of you like this, and you're going to be moving them like this, and you're going to be making this sound whoosh, 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 like water. Can you try that? Very good. If I go like this, it means I want you to get louder. If I go like this, it means I want you to get quieter. And if I go like this, it means I want you to stop and you can put your hands down. Very good. Then you will stay here until you hear run crew, set up for scene 2. When you hear run crew, set up for scene 2, you're now going to be moving and setting up the Shoshone Village. Okay? So you're going to take your chair and set it right here. Perfect. You're going to take your chair and set it right here. And now this time, after you move your chairs, you're not going to sit down because you're now a proud Shoshone villager. So you need to decide what kind of villager you are. Okay? Are you a hunter? Are you carrying water? Are you a baker? Are you a walker? Okay. What kind of character are you, or what's your job in the village? So take a second to think about what your job may be. And then on the count of 3, I want you to show me a pose that represents that character. Ready? 1, 2, 3, pose. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Great. So you're going to hold these poses until you hear music. Start music, lights up, and action. When you hear that, you're actually going to be doing a dance, okay? That's a very simple dance, don't worry, okay? So when you hear start music, lights up, and action, you're going to be doing a dance, and so you're going to want to come to the inside of your chair on that, and you're going to want to follow him around on the inside of the circle, okay? And this is a little tight. Move it out just a little bit. Just do a little bit more space, okay? Because the chief will actually be right here in the middle as well. Okay? So, when you hear the music start, you're going to walk around in a circle, so follow me. You're going to walk around in a circle, so your arms are going to go up and down. And when you get back to your chair, you're going to stop and go back to your pose. Stop and go back to your pose. Very good. Then you're going to hold these poses until you hear Odanko go to the chief and say, Chief, I hear strangers approaching our village, and the chief is going to say, My people, we must hide. Okay, because the chief doesn't know who's approaching and he wants to protect you, okay? So you're going to scream, ah! Going to scream, ah! And hide behind your chair. Very good. And then you're going to stay there until you hear the chief say, until you hear Sacagawea say, Greetings, my fellow Shoshone. When you hear her say, Greetings, my fellow Shoshone, you're going to come out from hiding because it's your princess. She's not scary. And don't lean on your chair. Thank you. And come out of hiding and you go back to your pose. And then you stay there until it's time for the company bow. Very good. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and actually your chairs are pretty close to where they're going to be for the top of the show, okay? So just hang out here while I get everybody ready for the blocking rehearsal. Okay? Great.
They walk towards it.
Awesome. So now it's time to move into the blocking portion of our rehearsal, which means I'm going to be showing the actors where they move on stage. This is also our chance to start working with the sound and the lights, okay? So the run crew has already done a great job of learning their blocking, so they're going to be doing their blocking while the actors are learning their blocking, okay? Costumes, how's it going back there?
Good.
Great. Do you have anything to give us yet?
Yeah, I got the headbands ready.
Okay, I'll come and get the headbands for you. Great, so we'll be giving these out in a little bit. This time around, I am going to be saying all of the lines and the cues. Next time around, it is going to be the actor's job to say the lines and the stage manager's job to say the cues. But right now, you just need to focus on where you're moving on stage. So stage manager and spotlight operator, can you come down that with me? Very good. Then narrator, please raise your hand. Very good. And Odonko, please raise your hand. And chief, please raise your hand. You all are going to come down and stand. This is going to be backstage right, okay? This is going to be your audience. So you're always going to be wanting to face your audience. You always want to keep them smiling by showing them these cheeks, not any other cheeks, okay? And then I need Sacagawea, raise your hand. Lewis, raise your hand. Clark, raise your hand. And Toussaint, raise your hand. I need you all backstage left, okay? So off stage here. Wonderful. So we are all set to start reading through. So lights and sound, when it says in the script or when I read it out loud, lights up or music on, okay, you'll go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go. Let's do your blocking rehearsal. Because I don't have enough people to demonstrate with actual humans the blocking portion of the 5th grade rehearsal, I'm just going to show you using these little cutouts of people. The only cutouts I didn't make were of the running crew, but just please imagine that for each of the 4 chairs there would be one running crew person moving and sitting and working with those chairs. So currently I have it set up for the top of the show, which means the running crew has the chairs cleared to the sides of the stage. And we've got Lewis, Clark, Toussaint, and Sacagawea backstage left, and the narrator, Odonko, and the chief backstage right. Okay? So I would start off by saying, okay, we're going to do the blocking rehearsal, which means this time I am going to be saying all the lines and the cues. Next time it will be the stage manager's job to say all the cues, and actors, it will be your job to say all of the lines. So here we go. Run crew set up for scene 1. So the run crew would set up their chairs in the waterfall formation, and they would then sit in the chairs. Lights out, the lights would go out, because you should be working with the lights and the sound for this run-through. So lights out, actors take your places. On that actors take your places, I need the narrator to come out to her narrator zone. Okay, that's where you get all your power, narrator. So then we hear lights up in action, and the narrator will say the year is 1805. The place is the Great Falls of the Missouri River. Then you will hear Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. When you hear that, Lewis and Clark, it's your cue to enter. So we'll have Lewis first, and then Clark. And you're going to enter, and you're going to be climbing and working very hard, and you're going to stop because you see these great big falls. So Lewis will say, look at the size of these falls. Great Scott, however will we get across? Fortunately for the explorers, help is not far away. The narrator, you exit, and we have entering Sacagawea. We'll do, I did Toussaint. We'll have Toussaint, and then Sacagawea enter. You can stand in a nice little angular line, like so. So then Toussaint will say, good afternoon, gentle strangers. I'm Toussaint Charbonneau, and this is my lovely wife, Sacagawea. Good afternoon. Pleased to meet you. We are on a quest to expand this glorious new nation, but we seem to have run into a problem. Do you happen to know a way across these falls? Indeed we do. My people have lived along the banks of this mighty river for many years. There is a passage to the north. Come, my husband, and show you. My husband and I will show you. Lights out, lights to half. Actors exit. On that actor's exit, you four will exit. Very good. And then we have run crew set for scene 2. So they will set up the diagonal, how many chairs there are, because there's one chair per run crew person. Very good. And then we will have the chief enter and stand in the middle. We will have Odanko come and enter and stand right there. And then we'll have start music, so the music will start. And this is when they will do the dance. Odanko, the run crew, has already learned the dance. It's very simple. You go in a circle, and you actually lead the dance, and you're just walking in a circle, putting your arms up and down. So let's go ahead and practice everyone together. Go in a circle, arms up, arms down, arms up, arms down. And when you get back to your chair, you stop and you go back to your pose. Very good. The run crew is standing in their Haudenosaunee poses in front of the chairs. Very good. Maybe not Haudenosaunee poses, but you know what I mean. They're Native American poses. Okay? So then we have lights out and spot on the chief. The chief will say, we thank the Great Spirit for the blessings granted to us during this past season. We thank him again for our friends and family. May he continue to bless us this coming season. Music out, lights up, and spot out. And the narrator is going to come to her narrator zone. Suddenly there are unfamiliar voices outside the village. The Shoshone people are about to receive visitors. The narrator will exit. And then Clark. This is a nice big line, but it's said from off stage, so you need to say it nice and loud so everybody hears you. So can you practice saying, thank you for guiding us around the river. Thank you for guiding us around the river. So Odanko, did you hear that line? Yes, I did. Great. Well, you don't know who's approaching the village, so you're scared. So you're going to go over to the chief. And you're going to say, Chief, I hear strangers approaching our village. And the chief is going to say, white people, we must hide. So then the run crew, you scream, ah! And you hide behind your chairs. Very good. Now, Chief and Odanko, you need hiding places. So, Chief, you're going to pretend to be a tree right here. And Odanko, you're going to crouch down and pretend to be a rock. Just like that. Very good. So you're going to stay here, and then we've got our adventurers entering. So, we're going to be entering in a line. And we're going to start with Lewis. And then Clark. And then Toussaint, and you're coming in through the middle, and Sacagawea as you're coming in through the middle of the chairs. Again, you're standing in a nice line in the front. And you're going to be entering and saying these lines. We'll never be able to repay you, but would you like to join us on our grand adventure? That would be an honor. However, we will need more provisions. My brother is chief of this village. Perhaps he can help. Excellent. I have these furs. Maybe we can trade for food and horses. Clark, here are your furs. You give Clark his furs, which is just a little piece of fabric. Then Sacagawea says, greetings, my fellow Shoshone. So when you hear greetings, my fellow Shoshone, what happens, run crew? Right, you come out of hiding. And Chief and Odanko, you come out of hiding too, because you know that it is the princess and she is not an enemy. So she says, greetings, my fellow Shoshone. Chief, I brought guests. The chief says, it is good to see you, my sister. Greetings, Brother Charbonneau. Please introduce us to your friends. This is Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. They are American explorers hoping to expand their territory and make new friendships. Everybody on stage freezes. And the narrator, you're going to come in front of everybody here. And the narrator is going to say, that night the chief declared a feast. The Shoshone people welcomed their visitors. A groundbreaking alliance was formed that would one day allow our glorious nation to stretch from sea to shining sea. Okay, then spot out, music fades out, lights up, and company bows. So everybody put one arm up and bend forward and bow and come back up. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. And that is your blocking rehearsal. Okay, so once you've done your blocking rehearsal, you would then get everybody set up for the top of the show so that they can get ready to do their first rehearsal if there's time. If it looks like you're running short on time, then this would be their final performance, and so you'd want to build them up a little bit. You say, okay, so your final performance, we're going to picture that your grandmother, your mother, your father, your aunt, your long-lost uncle on your father's side, everybody's here to see the show, okay? And so you try to build them up and get them excited for the show. If you don't have time to do a rehearsal and a final performance, you just kind of have to watch your time on that. So you would go through a rehearsal or a show, having them do their own lines and having the stage manager say the cues, make sure you're following along and helping them and making sure that it's as good as possible. Then once you wrap up your rehearsal, if it was just a rehearsal, you do your final performance. If it was a final performance, then it's time to launch into the closing segment, which you will see now. Very, very good. Everyone come take a seat right here in front of me. Come take a seat. Very good. Wonderful work. You all should give yourselves a big old pat on the back. You did a lot of work in a short amount of time. Very, very focused, and you all worked really well as a team. So thank you so much for that. I need to collect my items from you, so I'd like to do it in a certain order. First, I'd like to collect this stage manager script. Give your stage manager a round of applause. She did a very nice job. And then I need to collect my narrator script. Thank you very much. Then Lewis. Then Clark. Then Toussaint. Then Sacagawea. Then Odanko. And then the Chief. Thank you very much. I've got all your scripts. And now lights. I need your script and I need your flashlight. Thank you very much. Then I need my sound script and my CD player and my CDs. Very good. And costume crew, please hand me your bin with crayons. Thank you so much. And I also need my furs back from Clark. Thank you for my furs. Did I get all my items back from everybody?
Yes.
Wonderful. So normally when you're rehearsing a play, for every 1 minute of the script, you should have an hour of rehearsal. So if we just did a 5-minute script or a 5-minute play, how many hours of rehearsal should we have had?
5.
5 hours, yeah. So you did a tremendous amount of work. Thank you so much for participating so fully. Does anybody have any questions before I go? Wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.